So good morning. Today here I am in Athens at the Acropolis again, and I am going to do an open top bus tour. But this one is different. This is not the Central Athens tour. I have a video on that if you want to watch that. Look at the description below, it's been very popular. Today I'm going to Glyfada and I'm doing the Athens Riviera, which is along the coastline. It's fantastic beaches, hotels, bars, restaurants, so I really hope you enjoy. We need to get the yellow bus. If you get the blue bus, you're doing the Athens tour. We're getting the yellow bus. They're only about every 2 hours, but the tour lasts 2 hours, so let's see what it's like. So I'm doing the Sights of Athens tour. There are two companies, Sights of Athens and City Sightseeing Tour. When I did the Central Athens tour, I did the City Sightseeing Tour, so I thought I'd give the other company a go today. And as you can see, I'm starting at the Acropolis. This is where the bus goes from. And whilst the Central Athens tour goes very frequently, every 15 minutes or so, the Glyfada Riviera tour only goes once every 2 hours, so have a look at the timetable online. The cost of a ticket is €20, which actually seems pretty good to me, and you go for 2 hours, so that's pretty good. But let's see how it goes. So here we are on the bus, and I have a front seat, so hopefully this will be a good video. We'll see.
So we set off down the hill from the Acropolis, and all the bus routes go this way. There's a little restaurant on the right here, which is why we have all these cars and so on. But you really do want to try and park up here. And to be honest, you can see the first thing we hit is traffic. And this is the big problem with Athens. It's very stop-start, even if you're on a bus. So be prepared for that. But then we turn right onto Andrea Siggrou Street. And this street goes straight down to the coastline. Basically, when you get to the bottom, if you go left, you go south towards Glyfada, and if you go right you go to Piraeus. But it's a big wide street. You can see there are various big hotels here. So for example, we have the Intercontinental, we have the Grand Hyatt, and on the right of this street we have the district of Kallithea, and on the left the district of Niarchos. And both of these districts are really smart districts in Athens. If you're in Athens and you have a chance to wander around them, it's well worth it. It takes you out of the centre, takes you away from the tourist areas, but you get to experience a little bit of Athens. The other area I would recommend that you perhaps try and visit is the northern suburbs, Kifisia in particular, and Kefalari. They're really smart expat areas in Athens, very expensive, but great for shopping. And you could also pop into Halandri while you're up that way. But anyway, back to our tour, and as we come to the bottom, the road splits. As I said, you can go right to Piraeus, or you can go, as we will do, left towards Glyfada. And this is really where we encounter the first problem with this tour. Whilst I'd highly recommend it, it is a beautiful little bus ride for an hour or so. It's difficult to see the key sites on this tour. For example, on the right here, we have the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, but you can barely see it. And in front of us and to the right, we have the Flisvos Marina, which is the largest in Greece, and again you can barely see it. Now what you can do, of course, being a hop-on hop-off bus, is stop, get off, look at these sites and then get back on when you wish. But the problem with this one compared to the Central Athens tour is the frequency of the buses. In Central Athens, the buses are every 10 to 15 minutes, the open top tour buses, whereas this one, it only runs 4 or 5 times during the day, and it's every 2 hours. So the frequency with which you can jump back on is much less, and you need to account for that should you wish to use it as a hop-on hop-off bus. Now that said, there are a couple of places along this route that you may wish to stop for a couple of hours. For example, Glyfada Beach, which we will come to later, and also at the end of this tour, Vougliameni Lake, where we turn around and come back up towards the Acropolis again, basically retracing the same route as we've already been on. But again, you need to watch the bus timetables, because if you miss your bus, you'll have to use another mode of transport. Not that that's a problem. You can see here, for example, a tram runs along the Athens Riviera here, and in some ways, should you wish to go somewhere specific, is a much better route for you to take than perhaps this bus. But this bus is highly enjoyable. I mean, there were some Australians next to me, there were some Germans behind me, and we all had a fantastic hour going down to Vougliameni Lake and coming back. But you just need to manage your expectations as to what this bus is compared to the Central Athens bus itself. So the beach next to us on the right now is Paralia Edem, Paralia being beach in Greek, so Edem Beach. And then the marina that you caught a glimpse of there and can see now is Alimos Marina, and there are various marinas along this Riviera here. Obviously people have boats, people want to use those boats. And beyond the marina we have another beach, Kalamaki Beach, and you can see, as I said, the tram runs all the way along here. Very useful should you wish to access any of these beaches or sites and you're not on the bus. But this bus is useful because if you do the Central Athens tour, this bus is included in the price of your ticket. And all the tours seem to share the same bus. I think it's because it's not as popular as the Central Athens tour. Naturally, all the tour companies use the same bus, so your ticket, whichever tour company you use, is valid on this bus, and that makes it worthwhile because effectively it becomes a free bus should you already have done the Central Athens tour and you wish to explore further within Athens. And I would highly recommend it. You can see coming down here along the Riviera is very nice, very interesting. It makes you feel like you're on holiday in the middle of Athens, and there's something to be said for that. So on the left, there is a war cemetery containing the graves of 2,029 Commonwealth servicemen of the Second World War who are buried here. And 596 of those burials are actually unidentified. The graves have been arranged into effectively nationalities and special groups. So, for example, there are 74 men of the Army of Undivided India who died here during the campaigns in Greece and Crete of the Second World War. And this is a very tranquil place should you wish to stop and visit and pay our respects to those people who fought for the freedoms we enjoy today. Continuing along the beachfront, we come to Kalamaki Beach, and here we have the Bolivar Beach Club. And there are various beach clubs all the way along the Riviera which cater not only to beach life during the day, but also to beach life at night. You can come here during the day, you can pay 25 euros, and you can use the facilities on the beach. There are umbrellas, there are beds, there's food, there's drink. Very, very nice day out should you wish to do that. And then in the evening, these places become much more nightclubs, if you like, and they become really the heart of the city in the summer. The nightlife of the city moves out of the northern suburbs and the central areas of Athens and down to the Riviera here. And you can imagine on a hot summer's day in the evening, this place is packed with people wanting to just have a good time, really. Loud music, dancing, and real life and verve that you would otherwise only experience in the islands. So continuing along past the Alimos, Marina, the cemetery, and towards Glyfada, we come across a very derelict area of the Riviera, and it's quite shocking really, because you come along through this very well invested and rich area, and then suddenly you're in this almost deserted construction site, and it's huge. It's 600 acres, and it's the site of the old Athens airport, the Anatoliko Aerodromio, the Eastern airport. And when I was a kid, I used to fly in here to see my wife before she was my wife. I used to get a taxi back, Anatoliko Aerodromio Bracolo. Let's go to the Eastern airport, please. But it shut in March 2001, and it's been devastated pretty well ever since. The site was used for some Olympic sports in 2004 for the Athens Olympics, the kayaking, I believe, the hockey, also the baseball. But it's basically been derelict since then, and there's been huge argument over what to do with it. It is now finally being developed into what will be the largest coastal park in Europe. And it's going to be fantastic. There's going to be residences here, high-class residences. There's going to be shops, offices, parkland, etc. And if you decide you love Athens and you want to invest in Athens and you want to get in early, although early probably would have been 5 or 10 years ago, this is the future of Athens. This is the place to come and buy off-plan if you want to buy in the future. And you see here a sign saying drive carefully. Well, this road in the evening, I say in the evening, in the early morning, 2-3 a.m. becomes a racetrack. You have a lot of people with very fast cars here. As I said, Glyfada, the Riviera area, with the park, apart from the area we've just been in, the devastated area, is extremely rich. People bring their Ferraris, their Lamborghinis, their Porsches along here and race each other. And unfortunately, it's quite common to get deaths reported on the news where people lose control of their cars along this road and just hit a tree or something. It's terrible. So the government is really trying to stop people doing that. But you can see it looks like a racetrack. So as we leave the old airport behind us and the new Ellinikon park, as it will be, we're entering the area of Glyfada, which is one of the premium areas in Athens, and also, funnily enough, one of the most Americanized areas in Athens. And Glyfada really has everything. If you can afford to live here, you are very well off, because it's extremely expensive to live here now. And it was located near an American airbase until the late 90s when it was shut down. And a lot of Americans used to live here, which is why I think it's probably so Americanized. But you have fantastic shopping here. You have amazing nightclubs. And there's also one of the best beaches along the Riviera within Athens itself. And I can't stress strongly enough what a good area this is. This is probably one of the two reasons you take this tour and stop off, to come to Glyfada and explore, because you can see fantastic shopping. There's a great square here if you're into that sort of thing, and I love walking around shops, I have to say. And then directly opposite on the other side of the road you have Glyfada Marina, and you have the beach. So you've got absolutely everything here. And in the evening, as I said, you get early in the morning people racing along here like a racetrack, but you have all the nightclubs, you have the nightlife. This is the heart of the Athens Riviera, really. If you talk about Athens Riviera to people within Athens, they think you're talking about Glyfada and Glyfada Beach here that we can see, and it's just beautiful. Now, I talk about the Athens Riviera with reference to Athens, but this road actually runs all the way down to Cape Sounion, which is about 50 kilometres from here, and I would highly recommend either taking a coach tour, or if you have a hire car, driving the length of this road down to Cape Sounion, because there's a temple to Poseidon down there, which is beautiful. I'm going to do a video on it fairly shortly. I've recorded it, I just haven't edited it and published it yet. But this is a fantastic drive if you have half a day to spend. So continuing a few minutes further along the Riviera from Glyfada, we come to Vougliameni, and we turn right onto effectively a spit of land that sticks out from the Athens Riviera, which is pretty straight all the way along the seafront, into the Saronic Gulf. And the Saronic Gulf is the seaside, is effectively the sea which is running along the beach here. And this is a fantastic area. It's very green, it's very relaxing, it's like a little oasis in Athens, although you can see the roads become a bit smaller and it's much more residential. This is highly expensive, just like Glyfada. If you want to live here, you have a lot of money. Now, the beach on the right here is known as Kavouri Beach. In fact, the little one here is known as Mikro Kavouri Beach or Little Kavouri Beach, and then it develops into Kavouri Beach. But if you come down here in the summer, this place will be packed. It will be difficult to get here because it's such an oasis, as I said, and the Athenians flock here. This is also an area where if you want to stay in Athens but have effectively a beach holiday, you can come here and stay in one of the big hotel complexes. The organised beach here, which you will be able to pay to use should you wish, belongs to one of the big hotel complexes. And there are some really big hotel complexes on this little spit of land. We're not looking at it now, but as you continue round, we come to the Four Seasons Hotel. And you don't have to go to the islands for a beach holiday. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't. I think Greece is somewhere that you really have to explore, and Athens is somewhere that you really should explore. As you can see, the nature of Athens changes considerably within 4 or 5 miles. But if you have a few days and you don't want to get out of Athens, you don't want to get on a ferry or a boat, and you don't want to hire a car, this is somewhere that you can come easily, stay in one of the big hotel complexes and feel like you are not in Athens. So I'd highly recommend it. So continuing around this spit of land that is Vougliameni, you can see it opens up and you get these fantastic views. You could be in an island. There's no way you would think that you were in Athens, and you really are still in Athens. That's the amazing thing here. It's fantastic. And coming down here either on a bus or in a taxi, if you have the chance and you're not exploring elsewhere, I would highly recommend it. But over the other side of this spit of land, and Four Seasons, by the way, is on this spit of land to our right here, we come to something called Oceanis Beach. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's the very best beach in Greece, but it's a fantastic beach in Athens. Now, of course, to eat anywhere around here is not cheap, but I'm told that Oceanis here, and you can see the beach, it's a fantastic beach, it's actually one of the safer and better places to eat. And when I say safer, I don't mean in terms of food safety, I just mean in terms of value for money and quality of food. It's meant to be quite good, according to some of my friends who come down here. So it's an area I'd recommend if you're looking to come down to the beach in Athens and you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So as we come to the end of Oceanis Beach, we come back to that main road that we were on that was running down the Riviera, and we rejoin it here in Vougliameni, and we go down just a short distance really to Vougliameni Lake. You can see it's very nice down here now. It's much more holiday-esque than perhaps it was earlier when we were in the centre of Athens, and we are still in Athens. If you were to drive from here back to the Acropolis, and this bus does, it takes no more than about 40 minutes, and this bus stops at numerous bus stops along the way. So actually it's probably about half an hour. But that is perhaps the problem with this bus. This bus goes down to Vougliameni Lake, turns around and then goes back along exactly the same route to the Athens Acropolis. Unlike, for example, as I said, the Central Athens tour, which is the one I would recommend you do as a priority. If you're only going to do one, don't do this one. Do the Central Athens tour. But the Central Athens tour loops round and loops round and loops round, and it does loop back on itself. But there are a lot of antiquities to see and sights to see as you go round, whereas this one is very much, as you can see, about the Riviera, the beach, and just running along the coastline towards the south of Athens. As I said, if you have a chance, continue along this road, 50 kilometres south to Sounion. There are some fantastic beaches and beach resorts all the way down. Don't think it's just nothing until you get to Sounion, 50 kilometres of driving. It's really not. And for anyone who wants to explore Athens, this is a road that is an absolute must for you. But we come to Vougliameni Lake, where we turn around. It's below these cliffs, and I apologise, I didn't get off and really photograph it. I should have got off and filmed it. The lake is down there. There's a restaurant down there. You can sit on a little area by the lake. It's beautiful. I'll put in a couple of photos of it. But at this point, the bus turns round. So as I said, continue along this road if you can, if you're in a hire car, or you have the opportunity to go down 50 kilometres down this fantastic coastal road and explore the sights along to Sounion. But we turn around at this point. You can see the bus stop's busy. A lot of people get off here. A lot of people get on here. And we go back along the same route, exactly the same route, skipping the little Vougliameni Peninsula that you see there to the left, back to the Parthenon. And I'm not going to bore you with the same route all the way back. It's very enjoyable, however, I have to say, you see everything from a different perspective. You see things that you would have missed on the way down because you're going in the opposite direction. But I shall see you back at the Parthenon, where we're almost now arriving.
You enjoyed my little look at the Athens Riviera Open top bus tour. As I said in my video, it's probably not one I'd recommend if you're just going to sit on the bus and hope to see the seaside, because you don't really see it. But if you're going to hop on, hop off, which is the point of these things, of course, if you're going to look at perhaps Vougliameni Lake or Glyfada Beach, it's well worth it. And a lot of people did get off, particularly at the lake and the beaches. By the time we got back here, the bus was almost empty. So as a tour around for €20, 2 days, it's excellent value. Please watch some of my other videos and thank you for subscribing.